Welcome to Armchair Expert. I'm Dax Shepard. I'm joined by Monica Pladman. That should make you think of platypus, which should make you think that she's a professor.
I don't think many people are going to be putting those two together.
I pitched to Monica today that if she wanted to pursue a career in academia, that she should consider going with Pladman, because Pladman sounds scientific, like platypus.
And I'm confused by that, but
You're
that's
on the
okay. That's okay.
Also, a platypus, as we discussed, is kind of a scientific anomaly, a zoological anomaly, because it's a mammal that lays eggs.
Correct.
So weird.
So weird.
You know who else is weird? Rob Corddry.
Oh, I love Rob Corddry.
And Jethro Bovingdon.
I love Jethro Bovingdon.
Oh, my God. These are my co-hosts on Top Gear America, which starts on January 29th. There's a 2-episode premiere. It's very exciting. Top Gear America will be streaming exclusively on the Motor Trend app. Now, you know Rob Corddry, we already had him on, but you're going to meet Jethro Bovingdon, who I absolutely adore. And he's the expert here.
Yeah. Jethro is a big old car expert.
Big time.
And this was such a fun episode because you get to see the three of your dynamic.
Chemistry.
Yeah, and it's fun.
I certainly had a ton of fun doing it. So please enjoy our experts today, Jethro Bovingdon and Rob Corddry.
He's an armchair expert. He's an armchair expert. He's an armchair expert.
My gosh. What a sweet, sweet joy to see Jethro, isn't it?
No kidding, right?
Well,
Been a while.
and you.
It always is. I don't get to see you guys.
We left you.
Left me? Wait, what?
Yeah, Jethro and I spoke about it.
Are we separated?
Yes. The throuple is now just a good old-fashioned pair.
That's a horrible way to tell it.
Yeah.
I know. Well, your headphones not working now?
Hold on, 2 seconds.
This is why we don't do Saturday interviews. What a mess.
Did you see Monica's new car?
I did. Yeah.
Did you hear it?
Yeah, I did.
Oh!
I scared him because I pulled up behind him and it gave him anxiety.
Pulled up beside me. I was like, oh, some
rodder.
rich lady in her Mercedes wants to get. And Monica walks up, I'm like, oh, thank God. And then I was like, oh, that's a nice car. And she drives by me and I hear it. And I went, oh, I got to check that out a little closer. I was like, sure. C43?
Well, I bet if I could just add to that, I bet you felt it and then heard it. The rumble.
Was there any advice that you got? Did you ask for Dax's?
It was picked for me. It was a gift.
Yeah. She was not involved at all. It showed up, and it's the car. I think it best
Yes!
represents her spirit, doesn't it?
It's beautiful.
It's small,
Yes,
and then you're like, wait,
but
that's
it's
a powerful
strong as fuck.
Yeah, get out of the way.
Yep.
What is this car?
Yep.
I got a new car, Jethro.
Yeah, tell me about it. Sorry, I missed it. My headphones were not working, so I've gone old school with a cable.
Dax can probably speak to it more since I know very little about it.
It's AMG C43.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah.
Right?
Not quite a real AMG, but you're getting close.
Oh, shoot.
I thought you'd wait a little while till the audience liked you before you became the acerbic English dick that you are.
No, I knew right off, like you were just setting them up for an easy alley-oop right there.
Well, you've actually offended two people, which is hard to do because it's her car, so she's offended, and I picked it out and bought it, so I'm very offended too.
I'm surprised you didn't go straight for the Hellcat, to be honest.
Well, we already have one of those in the pod.
That's true.
We don't need two Hellcats.
What's wrong with the C63, Dax? Why are you shortchanging Monica?
Because
This is feisty.
to be honest with you, and she'll probably back me up, the C43's bordering on too much for her.
This the one I have?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, she's just barely like, I don't know if I can handle and pull this off, and I don't know if this is my personality. So it's right at the edge. She's like, it's so loud. I go, yeah, you look like a fucking gangster. Every time you drive out of the driveway, I can hear you for a quarter mile. So yeah, if we went C63, she would just be like, this is too much. I'm not a Hell's Angel.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, that's
I don't know
fair
if you
enough.
heard me, Jethro, but she passed me on the street, and I was like, oh, she's got a new car. Whoa. Like,
It's pretty serious. It's pretty
it's a pretty
serious.
serious car, yeah.
What have you graduated from, Monica?
a Prius.
Prius.
Well, welcome to real life.
Wow. Wow.
I went from silent to screaming. I was like, where is this noise coming from at first? I really was not sure if
Good
it
for
was
you.
my
Oh my
car.
God, that's
or-
great.
Were you a little bit embarrassed
Yeah.
after driving a hybrid for so long that were you like,
Oh, don't bring that part up.
Oh,
We're going to
yeah.
gloss right over
now consuming so much gas?
that. Come on,
Yeah.
Rob. God, you guys.
I'm just wondering. I don't know. I got to get into the mind of a hybrid car owner.
Okay.
Well, I'm keeping my Prius for ethical
For-
purposes.
yes.
So I still own a Prius, you know? But also, I only drive like 1 mile.
I was going to say,
true.
Monica's total mileage a year is probably 1,800. And if she drives to Palm Springs, she'll take her Prius so that it can get sunbaked and ruined and get good gas
I'm
mileage.
too afraid of ruining it.
But yes, Jethro, if I could walk you through Monica's car history, it went Honda CRV,
Okay.
Actually, first Toyota Camry.
of course, Toyota Camry, Honda CRV, then Prius hatchback, you know, the least sporty of them.
Progressed.
And then C43.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I drove it, and that car's fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's cool. You're definitely living the Hollywood dream now.
We were just discussing how perfect it is for Monica. It just definitely fits her
Yeah.
character.
It's so representative. It's unassuming, it's tiny, and then it blows by you at a light, and you're like, what the fuck is that little fucking little asshole so powerful for?
I think you're right. Keep the Prius for your conscience
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then enjoy the AMG. I hope it's got tinted windows so you can pretend that you're still, you know, like down with the environment and hybrids.
She actually tinted the windows, and then she put a Standees cutout of Kristen's face in between her and the windows, so America will
That's-
think,
I have one of those too.
oh, you do too?
Yeah.
They're
It's
great.
smart. It's
yeah,
smart.
because when I flip people off on the other
You
side of
have-
the Standees, people are so confused.
No one gets mad at Kristen Bell.
No, they don't.
They're like, oh my God, I didn't know she had such big middle fingers.
Oh, so graceful.
So I think we should introduce America. Well, not all of America, because Jethro has his own fame in his own right, but we should introduce Jethro Bovingdon to the Armchair Expert audience, which Rob's already a fan favorite of. But Jethro, none of us knew each other prior to starting to work on Top Gear
Right.
America.
Yeah.
And they narrowed it down to probably, what was it, 12 people that day or something?
12 that felt like about 30.
Yeah, whatever it was 19 or 20 too many
Yeah,
once we met
exactly.
Jethro. But, you know, Rob and I got there because we had already been cast in the show. And then we just kind of cycled through. We do these little fake reviews of a car.
Right.
And Jethro was probably third. And I didn't want to appear to be lazy, but I did say to them, I think we can cancel this
Both
day.
of us did.
Yeah,
Both
yeah.
of us did. We were like, I mean, that's the guy, right?
Yeah, and like when you're casting something, and Rob, you've produced stuff and cast stuff, it's like generally there's like 3 where you're like, man, I don't know. It depends if the storyline goes this way. I think that gal,
There wasn't another soul. I mean,
98 percentile.
they were all like good.
Good.
And there was guys that I knew. I think you guys might have known some of those guys too.
I did, yeah.
Well, look, everyone did a good job, but there was
Yeah.
some crazy symmetry right away between the 3 of us.
Yeah.
That was kind of undeniable. I was like, oh, this is the geometry you hope could happen.
Jethro immediately started taking the piss out of both of us.
Yeah.
I mean, you'll be pleased to know the production team had such faith in me that they called me 2 days before those auditions. I wasn't even on the books. That I was not going. I was due to be on a plane back to the UK.
Amazing.
When that happened. So I got a call on the Thursday. I think I was flying home Saturday morning. I was meant to meet you guys on the Saturday morning. And I said, okay, well, I'll delay my flight by a day. I thought they were just, you know, blowing smoke up my ass and saying, yeah, of course we want you to come along and test. That they didn't really. But they were like, no, it's worth you coming.
It's worth you coming. We need a ringer.
I went in with trepidation because Top Gear is such a big brand, but it also scares the crap out of you because it's been done so well by some people and so badly by others. You're held to this like impossible standards. I went in thinking, I probably don't want this job. And then I met you two guys and realized that you were really funny. We got on well. You seemed to have a different love of cars than I did, but we all sort of fitted together well. And I left thinking, I really hope I get it, you know? It was a total flip in that 20 minutes we met, basically.
I totally agree with you too, in that it's like they own the Beatles name. But the Beatles have passed, but they're going to relaunch the Beatles. It's very hard because the original three guys, they were so great that, you almost enter it going, okay, well, we will not be as good as them, but how close can we get?
But they think they went about it in a smart way this time. They really did put personalities together.
Yes.
They knew what the strength of the original show was. It wasn't, the Cars.
When did you guys get the call? Because you knew a long time before me, obviously, but what did you think when you heard about it?
Man, I'm so bad at months, and this is not a brag, but I do know I was the first person.
You were definitely the first person,
So I had talked to them, and I kind of have the same love and revere the property like you do, Jethro. And my take was just like, hey, man, two things. It has to be way more punk rock than it's been since those guys. Like, you got to be afraid that they're going to maybe end up in jail in an episode. Like, that to me, I need that threat of anarchy.
Which you've stayed true to.
I
For
have.
sure, you've definitely stayed true to.
Captain Chaos.
Yeah, so I was like, it needs to be punk rock and it's got to be its own band. Like, we can't try to do what they did because they did it so beautifully. And so if there's latitude there and we want to get a little crazier, I would fucking love to do it. And then knowing we have to have a car expert, like you have to have a bona fide car expert on the show for the petrol heads. And that's where Jethro came into the mix because, Jethro, what's your history as an automotive journalist? How'd you get into it?
Yeah, so I was super lucky, basically. Went to university, did like a traditional degree. I did English and history. I didn't really know what I wanted to do other than I love cars. I love car magazines. I didn't stop reading them, but I read them a bit less when I was like 16, 17, 18 because you're discovering new things like alcohol mainly and girls and that stuff.
MDMA.
Yeah. And then I went back to it like towards the end of my university. There was a magazine called Evo, not too far from my hometown. I wrote to them for work experience, didn't hear anything. And then one day I rang them and was like, look, I've finished my course. I need a job. What do you think? And then it was a long, convoluted process. But effectively, I went in, I got on with them. I got a job. I started as like the guy who washed the cars and delivered stuff and all the menial stuff. But it was great because it was a tiny independent magazine with a really passionate following. They were so protective of the mag that they didn't throw me into just writing crap that I didn't understand. So they taught me, they sent me on driving courses. They got me a race season with Caterham, and they just gradually got me up to speed. There were times when it was frustrating because I wanted to be in the mag and writing more stuff, but actually it was perfect. And a big publisher would never have allowed someone to be on the books for like a year, not effectively contributing to the finished product. Yeah, like I say, they were super protective of it. And then once I was ready, they threw me in. And because Evo only does the stuff I care about, it was all performance cars from little hot hatches up to supercars. So I just got this grounding and I stayed there for 7 or 8 years, became deputy editor, left to start a new thing with Chris Harris, who now, funnily enough, is a host of Top Gear in the UK. We got involved with the Lunatic, which is a long and boring but very funny story.
Any criminality involved?
It was fun. There was some crazy stuff happen. And then I went freelance and then I just worked for lots of different people. And finally I got the call to come and work for Motor Trend a few years ago. They wanted me to come as full-time, but I wasn't able to do that. I've got a young family and everything. So I started a contract, started working for Motor Trend, and then things happened basically and I ended up at Top Gear.
To back up, at Evo, if there's people who don't know what Evo is, like, it's a top car magazine out of England.
It's a monthly title. It's all about performance.
And it's beautiful. It's a beautiful magazine.
Yeah, and in its early days, it had a purity that probably other magazines haven't been able to have. But
And you were there during its heyday. Like, you were there during the Belushi,
Chevy
the
Chase.
Belushi Aykroyd days.
yeah, it was the best.
When Cliff Burton was still playing bass.
Yeah. yeah.
This is the most
right.
esoteric
I know.
episode we've
That was like
ever
a
done.
deep Metallica joke.
Yeah.
This is mostly why I've got the job moniker is to stop Rob and Dax. I figured out over the course of the season to stop them doing weird 15-minute riffs about 80s rock
Bits,
bands.
yeah.
Oh,
That's
man.
a big job.
It doesn't work. I haven't been successful, but I try.
Monica, what clarification
I
did you
think
want?
maybe just give it a tiny. I know we all assume everyone knows about Top Gear, but we have
okay.
a lot of women
Predominantly.
listeners. So let's just give like a quick.
Yeah. So Jethro, you would be better at that. I'll just set up that saying that at one time and for quite a while, Top Gear was the #1 show in the entire world.
Right.
I really became aware of the scope of it in a 60 Minutes piece where they were saying it had like 800 million viewers. And it's just the most enormous property ever. And what was amazing about it is clearly there's not 800 million car enthusiasts out there. So it really transcended the automotive space because the guys were just so fun and interesting.
Yeah, and the weird thing is, it started off as like basically a magazine show in the UK, very straight-laced, very down the middle, only for really hardcore car enthusiasts, I guess, but done in a really, almost like an old school BBC World Service sort of way. It was not fun. It was not fun at all.
Right.
And then Clarkson came in, this character, Jeremy Clarkson, and I think he just came in and said, I can do this a lot better to a producer one night. I don't know the full story. I think there's like some apocryphal
That's something
tale.
like it. I read the book. There's a book out. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's great. It's great.
You're a Top Gear historian.
so
I asked the wrong
well-read.
guy.
I love Top Gear guys.
That book's by the script editor, right? Richard Porter.
Yes.
Yeah. So there was Jeremy Clarkson, Richard Hammond, James May, Andy Willman's the producer, Richard Porter was the script editor, and they had lightning in a bottle, basically.
And so they brought it to America. And yeah, there's been many iterations. There's now been famously, fuck it, I'll just say it. You could read about it. But Jeremy Clarkson apparently or allegedly punched a producer and then the whole show fell apart.
Yeah.
They then went over to Amazon with Grand Tour.
Which is another great show.
Right. They got the sauce. So yeah, it was this amazing juggernaut of world popularity and it all came crashing down because someone punched someone on a set.
It did, yeah.
So that's kind of the exciting
I'm kind of glad that happened. So you knew not to do that,
Well,
but
yes.
you almost did,
Yeah.
right?
I almost did
Yeah.
the first couple of weeks, yeah.
Wait a minute.
I do,
Can
but-
I say, Jethro, what you said? Remember that day that the funniest thing I've ever heard anybody say in my entire life? I said, when you were arguing, Dax, I said to Jethro, they're either going to fight or they're going to fuck. Because they were so intense.
So passionate.
And Jethro goes, no matter what, fists are going to be involved.
I don't know which way it went, Dax. You can update us.
Yeah.
You all know how it went. There was a very lengthy apology, and then there was another lengthy apology, all on my end, and then now we are fucking two
Yeah.
peas in a pod.
Yeah, exactly.
And I would argue, from my point of view, things really took off post that fight. So I do think it ultimately was productive. I think we found like a kind of a rhythm, and we all knew our roles, and it was
So much testosterone.
a lot of testosterone.
man.
Yeah, Craig and I both just shooting testosterone every lunch break.
Oh, my God.
Well, I will say though, so back to Jethro for a second, because I don't think he'll brag in this fashion, but the niche that Jethro has really carved out for himself is that he is an incredibly great driver. And so if they want someone to drift the $1 million Bugatti around a mountain road, there's only a handful of journalists you're going to call, and Jethro's one of them. That's kind of his domain that he staked out. Is that a fair assessment?
That's very nice for you to say, Dax. Yes, and I know that makes you sound good as well because we're pretty close, I reckon, in driving. You're actually a very good driver. Yeah, my thing was always driving fast cars fast and sideways if I can. There's people in the industry, and I have respect for them. They do what they do. They love all the machinations behind the scenes, what the CEOs are doing and what they're planning in 5 years' time. And I never gave a crap about that. I just want a cool car that I can drive as fast as I'm allowed to drive. On Top Gear America, we get to close roads, so it's like taken up another level. So that's, so it's great. That's sort of where I come in. And then, it's actually created this lovely little rivalry because Dax is the most competitive man that has ever lived.
Oh, my God.
It's painful.
So great.
It's like, if I beat him at
so
something, there are times I think he's going to kill himself.
So I was so stupid. I thought it was something only I was seeing, being down there with you two. Like, oh, this is going to be great. Oh my God. And then they cut it so well. The editing of the show has been great so far, the cuts I've seen. They really lean on your competitive relationship.
Well,
it's so great.
It's in every
Yeah, I thought it was
atom.
my secret.
It's his identity.
Well, it is. And Jethro and I had like one of the most amazing conversations because what's funny about it is, yes, I think we're both incredibly competitive. I'll give you the same judgment, but I
I'll vouch for
fucking
that.
love Jethro. Like I've loved him since I met him. You auditioned. I said, come stay at our house. You did. Like I've loved you immediately. I just love you. And I want to destroy you and fucking run you off a cliff and beat you by 4 seconds. So it's kind of a fun rivalry to watch because I don't ever really want to gloat. I just want to win. And then when you lose, I actually feel terrible.
Yep.
And you and I had this most beautiful conversation on the side of a racetrack. I said, I'm going to guess that you're similar to me and that you've convinced yourself one of the top 3 things people like about you is that you're a great driver.
That's a quality everyone needs, right?
So when Jethro or I lose a competition, like we go back to the hotel and we don't know who we are anymore because we're supposed to be the great driver. So it's just so fun to see who's going to be going back to the hotel
great.
and just redefining themselves as a human.
There was a point in the season, and it was pretty early on, where Jethro started being funnier than the two of us. And we were like, no. I started getting competitive. I was just like, wait a minute.
Stay in your lane was a very regular call over the radio.
He's basically here to demonstrate that Dax plus Rob equals Jethro. And our two skill sets can be accomplished by one. It'll be the first time the show ever went down to one host.
No, that's not true. I tell you what, Dax, as I'm sure listeners will know, because they know you intimately, because I know you lay your heart open on this podcast, but Dax leaves nothing on the table ever. Like, it's extremely impressive. And Rob's the same for me, because I'm not like in your industry. I'm not a TV presenter or comedian or whatever. So see you guys turn it on is really impressive. And then Dax has this next element, which is he would rather die than lose, which he will crash a car, he will destroy a car, he will do anything if it means he walks away from that day feeling like the man.
Well, you nicknamed me, and I wear it with such honor. You named me Captain Commit. That's my nickname on the show.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
But I got to say, in all my life, similar to Jethro, I worked for General Motors as a kid, and I got to drive really cool things on the track, and I've been getting to do that for 30 plus years. And I got to say, some like of my top 10 driving moments, a couple of them are with you already. Because we're so competitive and we love each other, like there was a point where we convinced the show producers, don't try to film this. Just mount cameras on Jethro's car and my car, and we will go out and get you the footage. And so no one's really watching.
Yeah.
And Jethro and I with cameras are drifting through these turns on a racetrack 1 inch away from each other. And I'm like, oh, you don't get to do this ever in life.
It was great. It was great. It was really good fun. But I have to say, Rob, your commitment levels ramped up hugely.
The thing about me is I'm not a very competitive person, but I am very jealous. I'm sick with jealousy because all I want to do now, I know my role on the show, and I know that like probably becoming a better driver is not good for the show. But I mean, I want nothing more than to be able to drive as well as you guys. This year I've decided I'm taking electronic stability control off.
Oh, yeah.
That's a big step.
Yeah, 2021 resolution.
Half of your audience just went, oh.
But your most impressive moments was in the Overlander episode where you didn't have any ESC and basically you never had more than one wheel on the ground at any one
or
time.
a seatbelt.
Yeah, I kind of want to tell Rob's arc,
Yeah.
his human personal arc of this last year, because it's been pretty phenomenal. Have you ever had a work experience like this?
Never, no.
So hopefully I'm going to do this justice, but we all come together. We get to know each other. We decide to hang out and drive cars around one day. That's beautiful. We start filming, and I'd say a couple episodes in, it seems like Rob's getting less and less interested in the show.
Yeah.
And then it kind of crescendos in Flagstaff, Arizona. By the way, this is now the second time he's had altitude sickness. True altitude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he had to go to the hospital in Colorado, like really miserable altitude sickness. And there was a point where you're like, I got to stop lying to myself. I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
I'm done. And my first reaction was, how dare you? You're going to ruin this thing Jethro and I have. We have the best thing going. It's absurd we get a paycheck, and you're going to ruin it. And then I decompressed, and then I said, I love Rob. He adds so much to this show.
Yeah.
He can't be replaced. How do we get through this? And we had this, I think, a beautiful experience in Sedona. I forced you to come stay at my house.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, and also the overlanding episode was like transformative for me. It was almost like it was planned on the producer's part to get me like back in the saddle because, and I'll tell you now, it was only fear. It was just fear. Looking back on it now, having been through that.
Can I say it was at the apex of Corona? Like, so you had been in the house for 3.5 months with just your wife and daughters, and we returned to work, and it was
crazy. We were the only show going or something.
Yeah.
And so couple that with, hurling a supercar around a track, taking a corner at 70 miles an hour. It's terrifying for me.
Yeah.
For most people.
So like it was stressful. And I realized, I was like, these guys are my friends. I can confide in them. I can tell them how I'm feeling. And I did. I think it was never a secret that I was like,
no,
fuck. But then I realized around then that I was really bumming you out, Dax.
Well, because I just wanted you to love it like
and
I
so
did.
then, and it wasn't like, I'm just going to stay on because I don't want him to be sad. But I want to figure out what it is
Monica's having
Monica's
having PTS flashbacks.
I want to figure out what's
his pattern in life.
I want to figure out what is making you sad about. Oh, really? Tapped into something.
Our deepest wound.
Oh man. So like I just wanted to figure out. It wasn't that like I was disappointing you. I wanted to figure out what it was that was making you sad and like get on board with it. And you were just like. You said what you said. Well, like, we have lightning in a bottle here, man. And that coupled with the overlanding episode
so
really
good.
just, and probably, coming down from the altitude, the switch flipped.
It's not too grand to say the butterfly came out of the cocoon because all of a sudden he won that episode in spades. Like he had this ridiculous truck with a fucking doghouse strapped to the back and he was airborne 12% of the time he was driving it. And even you were watching some of the footage and going, oh my God, I was like that far off the ground.
It was crazy.
And you just, something happened. It was really crazy.
I was following Rob and I was like, we had different vehicles. So I had like a sports car turned into an off-roader and Rob had more of a bona fide car. But I was like, I can't keep up with Rob. I cannot keep up with Rob. I could just see this ridiculous vehicle with, like you said, a doghouse on the back, just
bouncing around
6 feet in the air. And Rob just looked in his element. It was great.
It was great.
And then to put the fucking cherry on the cake, my piece of shit van wouldn't make it up the hill, and goddamn Rob rescued me, towed my shit to the top after already being the He-Man of the episode.
That was the moment, man. It must have been the defining moment. I was like, this is never going to work. Nothing works for me on this show. And then I towed you up the hill. I was like, oh, man.
Yeah, I thought you were going to emerge in a loincloth all greased up or something after that. It was like you were the king of the world.
I gained 3 inches on my biceps that day.
If you had said, guys, have I shown you my broadsword? And you pulled it out of the doghouse, I would not have been surprised.
Oh, man.
Stay tuned for more Armchair Expert, if you dare.
Then for me, the next few months were just a goddamn party. Everywhere we'd show up, it would just be like, oh my gosh, where do we get to party? What do we get to fuck around in? What do we get to jump? What do we get to crash?
It was fun.
Okay, now I want to tell one Jethro story because, in some senses that he's laid out, he's like the underdog. He'll commonly say on the show, I'm the non-famous guy here, blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
Yes.
Right.
Beside note, Rob's the best in-camera guy ever. When I've seen the episodes, I'm like, I got to pick it up. I'm so concentrated on beating you. I'm not competing at all with Rob in the comedy and the in-car. They're so good.
Meanwhile, I'm
It
just
is good.
slithering by you. Oh, I didn't know that. Thank
So-
you. That's very nice.
The way that Jethro was the big winner this season was that because he goes back and forth to England, and I think in a very Machiavellian way, I think he knows when they're going to close it, not close it. He had somehow, right when you and I were at mass capacity with our families, he had to quarantine, quote, in fucking Jamaica.
2 weeks.
The show sent Jethro to Jamaica
Yeah.
to a beautiful resort on the water so that he could join us for work. And you were late. We were filming. We were somewhere miserable.
You were.
And you were still drinking Mai Tais in Jamaica.
Well, although it turned out well, it started off scarily because I was stuck in England. I could not get out for love nor money. There was no way out. I was investigating every nation there was. I was like South Korea, where you had to sit in a like government facility for 2 weeks.
Yeah, you're doing 3 times the work the show is doing on trying to get yourself out.
Because you couldn't fly into the US from anywhere in the European Schengen region and the UK. So I had to go somewhere else for 2 weeks before I could get into America. The only places open were South Korea, I think, but I had to literally live in a prison for 2 weeks, which didn't sound appealing. Mexico, which the producers wouldn't let me do because I think they thought I was going to get beheaded or something. And I was like, they're going to have to get a new host. I'm done. Like, they're going to have to get rid of me. I had one last Google search. It was a Saturday morning. I remember it. I was like, I'm going to get fired unless I find a solution. And it just popped into my head that the Caribbean was going to open quite early. This was a Saturday morning. I think Jamaica had opened for tourism the day before. And so I got onto them and was like, you have to book me to Jamaica. So I left 2-3 days later and had 2 weeks, in a resort. It was actually amazing. I can't lie. 2 weeks without kids was like, how does this even work?
You had a per diem down there as well, right? Because you were officially on business.
I was on business, Dax.
It was business time.
And I had a hotel to myself because there was no one else there. There was like 3 other people doing a similar thing. So, but
man.
Did you swim in the pool nude?
only once a
Of course he
day.
did. He's
Okay.
British.
I was going to say English. What a dumb
Yeah,
question.
come on.
No, I'm
What
not
a wasted
German.
question.
Come on, guys. No, I did not. But it was great. And then I got to come straight to the overlanding episode. So it was perfect.
And so what's going to happen, because we're about to resume, which I'm thrilled about. I'm so excited.
Yeah, me too.
How are you going to get here this
Yeah.
time? Barbados?
Because there's like 4 different kinds of COVID in England right now.
We have special COVID.
There's-
Do you know
They have
what?
the Commonwealth
COVID,
of COVID, many members.
I don't know. I think we're still working on the plan. I think I will be able to get out. It won't be straightforward. UK's just gone into full lockdown again. So we're back. This is it. I live in this room and don't go anywhere. So, but I think I'll be able to get back. I hope so, because I want to carry on and do it.
You can. My best friend was living there and she just came back. Fine. Totally fine.
Like a week ago, right?
Yeah, and she doesn't have to do anything.
There, Monica can get you there.
I'll
wow.
get you. I'll get
Monica,
you.
hook me
I'll
up.
get
Yeah,
you
I need to get in.
I will.
You'll have to change your name to Callie, but you'll be here.
No time.
Monica, do you have any questions for us?
Well, we asked Jethro a question the other day, a really important English
oh my
question.
God. Yes, you've become such a resource.
Oh my God.
In
yeah,
our real
this
life.
is right. Yeah.
We were watching a show called Happy Valley.
Which, by the way,
is-
have you seen?
No.
Tremendous. It's probably 6 years old. It's an English show. It's so fucking good.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so we're into that. And we have subtitles on because I can't understand the English accent.
Right.
Jethro
No, it's gibberish.
is an exception.
No,
but
It's gibberish.
That's not just English. That's set in Yorkshire, isn't it? So I would struggle with Yorkshire, to be like.
It's intense.
Broad Yorkshire is tough.
What is that? Is that north?
North, yeah.
Looks rainy as fuck wherever it is.
it's very bleak, yeah.
They're the proudest people in the UK, Yorkshiremen. They want Yorkshire to be a country. They would quite happily split from England and the rest of the UK.
Well, you said that they think you're basically weak and impotent because you don't mind coal.
Yeah,
Is that
so-
pretty much the assessment.
So yeah, the North and South divide is big in the UK. It's a different breed, and they call us Southern Shandies because we're half strength, you know.
That's good.
Southern shandies.
Oh my
Okay,
God.
so Monica.
Anyway, so we had subtitles on, and we realized that when the people were saying
Yeah,
right?
like, yeah.
It was written out as E-R-M.
Yeah.
And we were like, is that a subtitle issue or is
they
that what they're
fucking say
saying?
I know what you're talking about. I haven't seen the show, but I've seen that before.
Yeah.
It's weird.
So then we had to ask
Well, at
Jethro.
first we had about 40 minutes of laughing because we kept going, I don't know, spider, and then I was really had Monica's number, so I threw a couple thousand erms in, and then I hit Jethro. I was like, could it be possible that you guys actually say and not but it sounds like to us? That is true.
True.
They're saying
They say erm?
E-R-M.
I don't think we say we just spell it that way.
No, they say
Just say
but they don't. You don't hear their R's anyway because they're like dropping R's everywhere.
It was fantastic. The last possibility that we thought was that they're saying and they are.
I
are.
just think it's a spelling thing, but I'm glad I've enriched your life by explaining and
Now, obviously, you would never watch an American show with subtitles.
No, why would
you? Because we talk slow and dumb. It's
The
easy.
only one that I would have been I never did, but The Wire was pretty hard to get into.
The Wire was impenetrable.
Yeah,
for us.
the Wire season 1 was pretty tough. I remember sitting through that thinking, wow, this is going to click at some point, but it was tough.
The Wire is the television equivalent of Dostoevsky. It's like you're going to work your ass off, and then the reward's going to be.
I just started
giant.
letting it wash all over me. I'm just gonna assume this is as good as people are telling me it is.
I know that moment so well. When you go you're watching something, you're trying to figure it out, and finally you go just absorb it.
Yeah,
Stop.
just give up.
It'll if you let go, you'll understand.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because I'd be curious if you were watching us speak subtitled, if there would be a moment where you're like, you guys don't say UH, do you? For
No,
No.
I don't think so. But I think, I would like to do some Deep South stuff with Top Gear. That would be good. I don't think I'd understand it down there so well.
Oh, true.
Oh, yeah.
Mississippi.
I find it amazing. When I come to the US, people don't understand me generally in shops or coffee shops or what. And I ordered a mocha, right, from a Starbucks. A mocha. And the woman gave me a green tea latte.
Matcha.
Well, right.
That's
I was like,
exactly what happened.
What?
Because it's a mocha.
Yep. You're making it sound like matcha.
Matcha.
I was so
Yeah.
shocked. I was like, how does mocha become a green tea thing?
This panel rules you guilty.
Yeah, this is your
Serious?
fault,
Hilarious.
Jethro. Yeah.
But
Come on,
generally-
read a guidebook, will you?
I have been so shocked because it's so often they get it, but it's always second time of asking. Wherever I go, the first time is they have to tune in to this guy's English, and then they'll get it. But I don't.
Maybe
get it
you
because
should change the way you say it. How about that?
I'm not just talking about mockers and marchers. I'm talking generally. It's not just that one specific example. But I'm thinking if you came to London and ordered whatever you ordered, pancakes. They would understand
Okay.
what you were saying. If I walked in and ordered pancakes, they wouldn't. I don't
No.
get it.
Every time I go to England or even Canada sometimes, I'll say, can I get a coffee? And they'll be like, oh, what kind? What?
Yes,
What do you mean?
in Europe, if you ask for a coffee, they're like, what are
what do
you
you mean,
talking about?
idiot?
There's no such drink.
Do you want a drip to go or something like that? Or do you want to take away?
Americano, that's a coffee. Well,
yeah,
no,
right.
it's not. You've made
Yeah.
shots of espresso and
And
combined
I'd
it
like
with hot
that
water.
to go. And they're like, well, we don't know what that is.
We don't do that.
We don't know what that is.
We are not
Culture
food
war.
snobs. The one thing the UK is not is food snobs. Maybe French and Italians or whatever, but not England. Yeah. We're
No,
terrible.
that would be like the sub-Saharan Africans being water snobs.
Exactly.
You're
The
not
best-
in a position
The
to
best
be-
restaurant I've ever been to was in London.
Was it Indian?
Good Indian food there.
Yeah.
But no, it was one of those snout to tail restaurants. The St. John, it's called.
Oh, like a steak thing. The cuisine in London
Yeah.
is really good now. It's become a
It's
lot
great,
better. But
yeah.
I would say our food is improved a lot, but we're not as snobby about coffee and stuff. Come on.
No, you're not. You're
No.
not. That's definitely more of a mainland Europe issue
Yeah.
that I find.
Yeah.
Now, I have one
Wait,
question.
sorry, I have one more
yeah.
really important English question. Do you love The Crown?
This is going to shock you.
Uh-oh.
I have never seen a single episode of The Crown.
It's so good. Have you watched it, Rob?
I just started it.
Oh,
Yeah, it's excellent.
it is
I love
so
it. I love
good.
it. I think I love it though because I'm out of TV shows.
That's
Yeah,
a
that's
good theory.
true.
Have something to do with that. Like it's the last bingeable show
Yeah.
available to me. So I'm watching.
You
it.
guys love the royal family generally.
Yes.
You'd watch
No, I
anything
hate
about
it.
the royal family.
I thought I hated it until I watched this, and it's
It's
Shakespearean,
riveting.
man.
Yes.
It's a fairy tale,
it's-
yeah, and everyone's
it's
pretending it's
awesome.
real, yeah.
Yeah.
Monica and I's biggest wars this year have been about my disdain for this insane fairy tale that everyone's pretending is real. And Monica loves it.
When does it start? What period of history? Because they're up to like Princess Di and stuff now, aren't they?
Yeah, the last season was Princess Diana when they have babies. But I think there's 3 more seasons, so she'll probably die at some point. We'll
Yeah.
probably see through that.
She does die. But the first season starts with Queen Elizabeth's father, King George, like
Okay.
sick. You know,
Yeah.
he's sick. And played by, what's his face? He's
He's
so
so
Reynolds?
good.
Burt Reynolds as King George.
Can you imagine if he was still with us and they had cast Burt Reynolds?
Bring in Churchill.
Oh, it's good.
Yeah, I've not watched it, but I hear great things about it. But Dax is right; it is a complete fairy tale.
Well, and the thing is, guess what? I'd actually embrace it if, like, I can get behind Pablo Escobar for Pete's sake. You know, at least that guy, he somehow amassed $8 billion. He's evil, but he had a zoo at home and he had a good time. Everyone is
What the hell
suffering.
are you talking about?
I'll tell you, everyone's suffering on both sides of this fairy tale. So the people inside the fairy tale are fucking miserable. They can't marry who they want. They can't go anywhere. They're fucking hounded by the paparazzi. It's like,
Yeah, that's true.
The whole thing's a lie. And they have to live a lie to perpetuate this fairy tale. So it's like, nobody's winning. Why doesn't someone put their hand up and
That's
go,
the
guys?
whole show.
I
Exactly.
know.
That's the fun of
It's
the
maddening.
show.
It's
Yeah.
maddening.
You don't like it.
No.
But he doesn't like fancy people, so you're going
I
in
have
with a chip.
a status chip on my shoulder.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm pretty fancy.
No, you're a fucking piece of shit like me. You should be so offended by these people.
I
who
am
think that-
fancy.
Oh, you think you're fucking better
I'm
than
fucking
me?
fancy, dude.
No, listen. They think
Dude.
they're fucking so good
I'm
and so
fucking-
much better
I'm
than
fucking
everybody.
sartorial, dude. I'm
Okay.
sartorial.
You don't have a fucking palace. You don't have any fucking
you.
jewels.
My house is my palace, you fucking kumquat.
Listen to me. You don't fucking have a pot to piss in. And they're fucking
Piss in a
parading
pot.
around.
Watch me. Get a pot up here.
Where's your pot?
Give me a pot.
Give me a pot.
This is good stuff.
Give me
So
a
much
pot.
respect for
Break
Jethro.
me off a piece of this.
What else about your country?
Well, I did have one more question, a cultural one.
Okay.
So as you and I spend more and more time together, I'm always so charmed by some of the words you use, and then I start using them pretty frequently. And I wonder if that's annoying to you or flattering to you. Like, I don't know if you noticed, but I picked up proper. Like, I was saying proper every
Proper's
fourth
a great
word.
one.
It's a great word.
And so is mega.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like it. I'm trying to think of words that you use that I've picked up.
Cocaine.
Yeah, fisting, blowjobs. Do you know the only thing that I find hard with you two is the Howard Stern intervals?
Oh, I knew it. Yeah.
I knew it. I was
for
just about to
sure.
bring it up.
I don't know how to describe them. They are presentations, celebrations.
Sometimes 2 hours long.
Yeah.
They talk more about the 2-minute thing they're about to play to me. Like the
setup.
preview could go on for an hour and a half.
We go back years to
Rob does the entire bit. So it's like a prank phone call. So he does the entire
He does the
bit.
entire
and
thing.
And then I do the entire bit immediately after he has. And then we find it on YouTube.
Yeah,
And we make you now listen to the entire bit, which of course isn't as good as we think it is.
Yeah.
And then we get self-conscious about it. And then we go, no, the better one was.
Yeah.
And then we do that bit.
Oh, wow.
It's so what
I remember specifically being in the car with you for like an hour and a half and knowing this is miserable for him and not being able to stop.
you and I, Dax, were in a car together driving home once for about 3 hours. Not once did we talk about Howard Stern.
I know it's only around Jethro.
Talk only around
So what are
Jethro.
you talking
We want
about?
him to
Come
like
on.
it so bad.
So yeah, but apart from that, it's been a joy.
Oh, what was the episode you showed up? It was so funny. You said to me, like, you walked by me and you overheard me saying something, cocaine. And you go, so consistent, 9 a.m., and you're already talking about cocaine. Well, boys, I cannot wait to get the band back together. I had so much fun. I've never had a work experience in my whole life that felt like it brought together everything I've ever been interested in.
It's the
Like
best.
comedy, show business, cars, horsing around, getting in trouble. It's like it doesn't feel possible for me.
What was your favorite bit?
Man, there's been like best driving moments and there's best like us losing our minds laughing.
Yeah.
But driving that whole snow course was just so fun,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Oh, man.
That episode was great. Just the complete failure of everything we tried to do was so good.
It was.
Yeah, that whole episode was such a... I mean, my first bout of altitude
You were
sickness.
so sick. But I loved, we went to the restaurant. So Rob is
Terrible.
sick as a dog with altitude sickness. He could just make it to the restaurant. So we go in, we order food. Rob's like, I'm going to have to take it to my room. So he orders a pizza and a bottle of wine, and he self-medicates in his
hell
room
yeah.
with an entire bottle of wine. It was the best.
Exactly. I kept doing that, by the way. I was like, I know I'm not really sick. This is like the pressure in the air. So I'm going to make myself feel as good as possible.
There was also like the joy of using that heavy equipment, using the enormous excavator and looking over and seeing Rob on a fucking huge Caterpillar bulldozer.
Yeah, that was
Like
fun.
getting to do that. I mean, you just don't get to do that.
There's so many things we did that you just don't get to do. I mean, including for me, just like driving those insane cars around tracks. Like, I know that you guys have done that before, but I feel like my whole mind was sort of opened up. I think I'm more now, I notice more brave in my normal life. Like
Yeah.
in my everyday life now after having done a season of that show.
You didn't seem very brave when I pulled up behind you today. You were scared.
No, that wasn't my bravest moment.
Yeah.
How did you know that? You just felt it. You just felt it.
Like that's why with my daughters that I try to get them on motorcycles and in razors, and sure it's dangerous, and yes, sure a lot of it is just I want them to hang with me, but I do believe when you get confident controlling something so big and you start to feel that, I do think it informs the rest of your being.
It sure does, because I had the opposite experience growing up. My mother was very protective and like, you know, would never
Turn you
have-
loose.
Oh, God. Even like suspecting I was riding in the back of someone's pickup for a couple blocks would get me grounded.
Rob, have you continued your buying car habit? Because since we...
That was my same question.
Yeah, since we
Yeah,
started
well-
filming, you've just been buying cars.
Well, it's been an ongoing conversation with my wife and I. And I realized that my poor wife, she never bought this ticket. You know what I mean?
Sure.
She never, and all my friends that I met in New York City when I first started out, like, they are always like, wait a minute, what, you like cars? I'm like, all my high school friends know I love cars.
Right.
But in New York City, I left it all behind. I didn't even care. I took the subway. There's nothing, nobody cared or talked about cars in New York City. So it was kind of foreign for everybody, including my wife. You know, now it's been many years now in LA that I've slowly been kind of trying to get her on board with buying a house with a huge driveway.
Sure.
Tiny house, huge driveway. But to answer your question directly, no, I still have the Datsun and the Porsche, and the Sprinter came.
Is it done?
The Sprinter's done.
Oh,
I
nice.
took it out on its maiden voyage.
Oh.
It's been my trailer on the Unicorn.
Oh,
for
fun.
all season. It's beautiful. I'm probably going to take it out, you know, on Top Gear.
Oh,
too.
right, as we drive around.
We're going to Salt Lake, I think, first.
Did you see
right?
Big Brown when you walked in?
That's amazing.
Yeah, I saw it. I can't wait.
Oh my God.
That is a
can't wait.
beast. That's ridiculous.
Oh, my God.
I think we should all
God.
spend a couple nights in Big Brown this season.
But Dax, does everyone know about your background with cars? Like, if you talked about, you know, your mum's
You don't
company
talk
and
about it a
everything?
lot on this
That's true.
show.
You don't. Talk
I
about
don't,
it
but
too
yeah, in a nutshell, my dad sold cars. My dad drag raced. My mom drag raced. So I grew up in a house that loved cars. And then my mom married an engineer at General Motors who was in the Corvette group. He was a ride and handling engineer. And that kind of opened up this world to they had a Ferrari 308. They had a Lamborghini Countach. There was a Lotus. He could take me on the track. He was a great driver. He also raced motorcycles, and I got interested in motorcycles. And then my mother started this company that threw these enormous car shows for journalists where we go rent racetracks and we would manage 150 cars and make sure they were clean, and we'd set up the racetracks. And then I, as a young kid, got to be driving the cars while the photographers took pictures. So I got to get sideways around corners, and I was on the cover of some magazines, and I collected them, and it's a big fun thing. And I wanted to become a race car driver, and there was a moment in Georgia on a show where I had an opportunity, but I just got into the Sunday company. And I kind of chose that. And then the moment I could, I found my way back into cars and raced off-road and raced in the Super Trofeo and just always wanting to do that any moment I'm not acting.
That was a really good encapsulation.
Thank you. I was panicked the whole time. I'm like, I got to sum up 30 years.
I just think it's awesome that you got to do that, delivering brand new Corvettes when you were like 17 years old or whatever. It must have been so much fun.
Oh, and I told you the highlight of all of it is General Motors, they had this fleet of cars they lent to the press. And at the end of their 1-year run, they couldn't really sell the car because they'd have to offer this insane warranty on it, having been on tracks and stuff. So for them, it was a lot more economical to crush the car, destroy it, and take a full tax write-off. So our job several weekends of the year was to drive cars to the crusher. So Aaron Weekly and I, best friend Aaron Weekly, we would both be in ZR1s.
So cool.
And we would try to get the thing in first gear going 70 and then drop the clutch. And you would have to like put your whole body weight into it. And you'd fucking hear gears shatter. And then you'd have to pull in second gear because you blew first gear out. I mean, we would just destroy, like rip the visor off when you got inside. It was like
so fun.
No one gets to do that.
You've had the two best car jobs in the world.
This is an episode of Top Gear America. We go and take cars to the crusher and find ways to destroy them.
God.
Relive Dax's youth.
Oh, that'd be so great.
You're so right, because there's nothing funnier than getting in a car and just tearing the visor off and throwing it in back.
What would happen if I was driving it in first and right at the red line and then just shifted it into reverse?
It can be done.
It can be done.
On a dirt road. On a dirt road, it can be done.
Yeah, I like the sound of that. And it would upset people because I've had it in the past where I've done videos. I did like a video of a Ferrari in the rain with the roof down, like torrential rain. And it upset people so much.
We would have to tell them that these cars are being crushed anyway.
But you would upset people. It'd be great. We should, let's look into that.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. We can only take dirt roads there and or desert landscapes.
Yeah.
Well, I love you boys. This was so fun. I can't wait to get back to work. And people should download the Motor Trend app. Is that how people see our show?
For now, yeah. It's gonna be available, I think, at some point on Discovery Network. But for now,
January the 29th, isn't it?
Motor Trend app.
January
And the Motor Trend app
20th.
is great. It has a lot of good shows on it, including the original Top Gear.
Yeah, they have the full catalog of Top Gear and all of its iterations from the beginning. So, Jethro, I love you. Can't wait to see you.
Can't wait.
Rob,
Same.
I love you. I'm seeing you.
I love you
Can't wait to
both.
walk you through Big Brown right now.
I can't wait. I can't
Monica, we love you. You might
you
have the coolest
guys.
car here today.
Well, not according to Jethro.
Well, Jethro can suck a dick.
Jethro knows what he's talking about.
Welcome back.
It's not a
Liz.
real
He can suck a Northern English dick. All right, love you.
Bye.
Guys, bye.
Stay tuned for more Armchair Expert, if you dare.
And now my favorite part of the show, the fact check with my soulmate, Monica Padman.
We're talking about your show today.
I know, it's pretty darn exciting.
Are you excited?
I really am. I just had so much damn fun making it, and I'm about to go have more damn fun making another season of it in a couple weeks.
I know.
Oh, I love it. I love those boys so much. I got so lucky.
You did. It's such a good group.
And 3 can be dicey. 3's a rough combo sometimes.
Yeah, because somebody's left out.
Yeah, like 2 people are better friends than the other, but that's not the case.
Yeah.
I love them both equally. They might like each other more than me, but I can't tell if that's the case.
They do a good job hiding it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, everyone's bringing their own thing to the table. There's no competition, really. Well, there's a lot of competition, as we learn, but also no competition.
Boy, could you imagine if I actually didn't love Jethro and he beat me? Oh, I would be suicidal.
That'd be miserable.
That'd be too much.
Yeah, for all of us.
There's a stopwatch.
Is there a stopwatch?
Oh, yeah.
Who holds it?
Whoever's not racing. So, yeah, like Jethro's out there, maybe Rob's got it. Or if I'm out there, maybe
Is
Jethro
it like
has
a
it.
cool stopwatch with glitter?
No, it is a regular run-of-the-mill stopwatch.
They should make it cool with glitter.
Maybe,
for next season.
yeah, maybe that. I'll pitch that
Okay.
when I get to Utah.
Can I hold it?
Oh, my God, yes.
That'd be fun.
I don't think they could afford your day rate, but yeah. Maybe we should have you on with your new car to zip around.
Oh my
and
God, my
race.
new car.
Get you on the track.
I drove it yesterday. Ooh, I wonder if I should say this.
What?
My driver's license.
Oh,
Do you think I'll get in trouble?
no.
Okay, then I'm going to say it. Well, this is getting sorted out. So if there's any police listening, please don't.
There are law
follow me.
enforcement. Do you know I pulled up the other day? Did I tell you the story when we were leaving Charlie's gym, Eric and I? And we got at a light into LAPD were next to us. It was New Year's Eve. And they looked at us and we looked at them and I said, Happy New Year's. And he said, hey, I listen to Armchair.
Oh my gosh. Turns out for 8 months, I've been driving with a suspended license.
Yeah, that was a revelation to you.
Yeah, so I had my
Oops.
seizure. I had my seizure, and when I had it, my neurologist said, okay, you can't drive for a month.
Yeah.
And normally it's 6 months, but because mine was night only and I only had 2 and they were so far apart, he was like, I really feel comfortable with you just going a month. And I said, okay, great. So then I did not do anything.
You thought, well, month's over.
Yeah, I
And you lived with us that month, so
I
you
did
didn't
not drive for that month.
yeah.
I followed the rule. But then I started driving again.
having a good time, zipping around town.
Zipping, getting a new car, going
Yeah.
crazy. And
Recommitting to driving, in fact.
yes, and I was getting this car insured.
Yeah.
And the very nice person helping me was like, this is probably going to come to a shock to you, but turns out your
An
license
outlaw.
has been suspended / revoked
Ooh.
since April. And I was like, oh no. So I am currently an outlaw.
Oh, I love it.
It feels
love it.
scary.
Oh, yeah, I like it.
It really does feel scary. Every time I'm driving, I get a little nervous.
Like you feel like you're always driving drunk.
Yeah.
Like if a cop gets behind you, you're
Yes.
like, uh-oh.
Yes.
That's my number one favorite thing about being sober is when those cops get behind me at 2 a.m. I'm like, get right behind me, girl. Follow me as much
I
as you
know.
want. It feels so good, so liberating.
I always have a little tinge of that fear
You do.
whenever there's a cop near me while I'm driving. And I
Okay.
don't know why, because I'm not speeding or anything.
Yeah, you're a good person.
I'm a good person.
Yeah.
But sometimes I think, there might be something wrong with my car that I don't know about.
Oh,
and
sure.
And then I'm going to get pulled over.
Mechanical infraction.
And then they're going to realize I have a suspended license.
And then you're going away in handcuffs.
Oh my God.
Oh, yeah. What if I had to go bail you out?
Could I get arrested for that?
I just don't know the answer.
I think I could.
It'd be so fun to go bail you out.
No.
Because
Oh.
I'll tell you why. Because if anyone was a betting person and they had to bet who would pick up who from jail, the odds would be staggering. It'd be like 80 to 1 that you'd be picking me up from jail. And no,
Oh my
I'd be
God.
picking your
I
outlaw
really
ass
hope
up.
I don't have to go to jail because I have a big to-do list.
Sure.
And if the cops who are listening,
Mm-hmm.
it probably means this show will suffer. So maybe just don't take me to jail.
I also want to take a second to say to that nice police officer in downtown LA on New Year's Eve, I loved that exchange. And I was so flattered that they listened to the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is great. Me too.
Yeah.
And I hope he tells his friends.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I hope he puts out like a all APB,
Yeah.
all points bulletin. Let Monica pass.
It's getting handled. It's getting handled. I called my neurologist and I said, we need this. You got to call him now.
Yeah. You got to call him like 7 months ago when you were supposed to.
It's not his fault. He's really great, Dr. Steven Sykes. Big shout out. Best neurologist in Los Angeles. He really is. He is.
I don't know how you measure that, but I'll believe you. There's just not a stopwatch. That's all. Back to a ding, ding, ding. There's no stopwatch to time him against other neurologists.
There's ways. And
Okay. There's metrics?
yeah.
Okay. I was just going to say, I feel like we should have done this at the beginning of an episode and maybe even should do this on a standalone thing. We should. But I want to say that our shows, you can follow individually now.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you love Monday, is that up? Do we know?
I think so.
But you can follow Race to 270 on its own, and you can follow Armchair Monday on its own, and Experts on Experts on its own. In case you feel overwhelmed with the volume of product we're putting out in the marketplace, you could a la carte it. I just want to say that. I don't want anyone to leave because they feel overwhelmed. If we haven't already done it, it's coming immediately.
Anyway, but I was driving my new car illegally yesterday, and I'm starting to feel like I belong in it.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm starting to.
Well-
Not fully there, but I'm starting to.
Aaron said you looked really sexy when you pulled away from the Richardsons driving your new car. Wasn't that nice?
It was really nice.
You look like a badass. I want you to shave your side.
No.
Please shave your side.
Dax wants me to shave half my hair off.
I've wanted
My
this
nose
for a
is
while.
sounding stuffy.
You're having an allergic reaction to me.
Oh.
The outlaw life is not for everyone.
It's making me ill.
It's making you stressed and ill.
I could have guessed the outlaw life was not for me. I've pretty much been banking on that my whole life.
I disagree. You shave that side.
I'm not doing that.
You hop in that C43, and let's just fucking see what the future
If I
holds.
shave my side and I'm riding around in that car, I'm definitely getting pulled over.
For people asking for your number.
Oh my God.
So you're right. It might be inconvenient.
No. And you know
If
what?
people look at you, they're like, what the fuck is, look at this miniature mouse. Look at that tough haircut. Look at all that horsepower. What is this unicorn?
Okay. Speaking of looking at in people's cars and being like, whoa, Jethro is a babe.
Oh, good job.
Yeah, I just want everyone to know. They already know now that they listened, but he is a babe.
Oh my God, I'm so happy to hear you say that.
He's also just really nice and cool.
He's super cool.
Yeah.
And he's a gentleman.
Yeah, he's a gentleman.
And he's naughty. He's randy, which is fun because he's like a gentleman, but he's naughty. He drifts cars around and he's naughty.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a kind of a wicked sense of humor when he trusts you.
Okay, I want to give a little update on something really important. So I made you some ziti.
Yeah. Yeah, you did. You did it. You came through.
I came through. I brought some ziti over at night. You had already eaten. But
That didn't stop me though, did it?
no, and you ate bites and you said you liked it.
Well, more than that, let me walk people through it. There were so many different flavor profiles available in this one dish. And what was great is as you danced around the geography, I took a bite out of the right side, then I popped in the middle. And because there was 4 different formaggios, 3, every time I wandered into a new sector of the dish, I got a new flavor. It was like being on a trail in the woods, and I kept coming around corners and, a waterfall. Oh, a looking pond.
Yeah,
It
depth.
it was delicious and surprising, and you couldn't get comfortable. And then a funny part happened.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so then you ate a bunch of it, and then we were watching TV, and I started to have a panic because I remembered that when I was cooking the ziti and I was making my ricotta mixture, I put it in this copper bowl. And when I was spooning it onto the ziti, I was like, is there some like bluish color?
Uh-oh.
There's like kind of a bluish tint. That's weird.
Like Tidy Bowl?
What's that?
The little mints that go inside of a toilet and it makes the water really blue.
Oh, no, it was not that extreme of
Okay.
a blue. Just like maybe even the light shined on it funny.
A
It could have been
wisp.
that.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, that's weird. But then I just kept making it and then brought it to you. You ate a bunch. But then while I was sitting there, I was like, oh my God, what if that bluishness was from the copper bowl and now it's poisoned and now everyone's going to be poisoned and dead.
Right.
I got really nervous, and at the end of the show, I said, hey, just do me a favor. Just don't eat the rest of the ziti until tomorrow because I'm going to go home and eat a bunch of it right now, and then we'll see if I make it through the night.
We'll see if you're dead in the morning.
Yeah, and if I'm fine, then feel free to eat the ziti.
Right. And in the middle of all this, I took a few bites.
Yeah.
You were in the living room with Kristen, and then you came around the corner, and I was clearly chewing, and you said, have you had some?
I
And
didn't
I said,
appreciate that because I thought for real, like, that could have been making people sick.
no. Yeah, I was not nervous.
I
that it was gonna
know, but
make me
I was
sick.
nervous.
Well, then I stopped eating it once you yelled at me. And then you went home and you ate a ton of it.
Yeah.
And then you text me around 10 a.m. I'm alive.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
had made it through the night perfectly.
Mm-hmm. You woke up stronger.
I did. I felt sturdy.
Yeah. Robust.
And I've eaten it many days since, so it's not poisoned. If anything, it added an extra taste. The copper.
Yeah, and also,
Secret
don't
ingredient.
underestimate color profiles. You know, if you see a little blue, a little cobalt, a little green, a little vermilion, it's exciting.
Oh.
A little puce.
Oh my God.
Mhm.
Wow.
But it was delicious. Everyone should know it's delicious.
Thank
And
you.
I'm glad you made it for me. Thank you.
You're
You also made an incredible cookie this week.
Yeah, also Allison Roman's recipe. These are internet famous cookies, so a lot of these listeners probably already know about it, but it's a chocolate chip shortbread cookie.
You know, Kristen came home last night
Uh-huh.
and she said Monica made the most amazing cookies. She was bragging about the cookies.
Oh, I'm so happy. I just make all
Execute
of
them.
Allison Roman's. And, I've been watching all her videos over and
Mm-hmm.
over and over again because I ran out. So now I've just been watching them on repeat.
Yep.
And the most amazing thing happened. This is, again, simulation.
Mm-hmm.
I put it out in the universe that I need more videos.
Mm-hmm.
And she's going to start doing videos every Tuesday.
Oh, wow.
I would advise everyone to, and look, she's not sponsoring me, but I would advise you to like and subscribe.
I would say with the level of promotion you've given her, she should make you dinner.
I would die. We are in quarantine. When she wakes up out of quarantine,
When she comes out of her long slumber, her hibernation.
then God, I would
Ooh.
I'd be so starstruck.
Oh. Ooh.
I don't think I could do it. I don't think I could keep the food down. Okay, so Top Gear.
Top Gear.
Rob said that this year he's going to take the electronic stability control off.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what that is?
Yeah. So electronic stability control helps several things. One part of it is traction control. So it prevents the rear wheels, if it's rear wheel drive, from spinning faster than the front wheels are spinning. That's how it's detecting it. And then also, should the wheels spin and the car becomes sideways and back, if it starts swerving, it has the ability to apply, retard the throttle and also to apply brake to straighten it out. To prevent you from really going sideways or doing donuts or showing off. Burt Reynolds in it. So every time you get in the car with me, you notice I hold a button down, and you got to hold it down for a while. You got to hold it down for like 7 seconds, and it'll turn the whole system off. If you hit it once, it'll just turn traction control off, but it won't allow you to get sideways. But if you hold it down for a very long time, it'll turn the whole system off, and then you're free to go.
Interesting. Okay, I've never heard of it. Didn't know.
Your car has it.
I'm going to leave mine on.
Sure, I think that's advisable.
Yeah.
It's been raining the last 5 days in LA.
Yes.
And I have taken that stability control off the Hell Kitty and have just been dancing around the wet streets. It has been so
That's
fun.
scary.
No, it's so fun.
Oh.
Yeah. You've been in the car when it's so fun.
Not in the wetness.
No, not in the wetness, but you've been sideways in cars with me before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the wetness would scare me.
Okay. It becomes easier and more predictable. Yeah.
Okay. Don't try this at home.
No,
We're not advising that.
I never said I was.
I'm just making it clear
Yes.
because you're making it sound fun.
Listen, you went home and you consumed a ton of pasta you thought you were pretty certain was poisonous.
Yeah, that's right.
But I didn't say, hey, listen, people at home, don't eat poisonous pasta.
Go ahead and tell people that.
Okay.
I'm not mad if you say that.
Okay.
I'll say it. Guys, maybe the not smart thing to do is eat pasta you think is poisoned.
Yeah. But I'm into it. I thought it was a cool move.
I did it to protect you and to protect the children.
Yes. I know.
Because
Appreciate it.
I was worried they might eat it, and we had to do a test first.
Do you know what it reminded me of?
What?
My mother's big trick when she wanted a bite of our food. Like, say she wasn't going to let herself get the rectangle sandwich at Burger King
King?
for whatever reason. Maybe she was dieting or something.
Uh-huh.
Or Halloween, come around, you get the big bag of candy bars.
course.
And she'd always say, let me make sure it's not poisonous. And then she'd take the first bite. And then if she didn't die, you could eat it. So I kind of felt tricked a little bit when you were saying
Okay,
that.
I was actually trying to save your lives.
I got suspicious that you're gonna say, don't eat it, it's poisonous. And then I was gonna go to sleep and you were gonna sneak back in the house and steal back the ZD you gave me.
Oh, that's all right. That sounds like something I'd do.
Yeah. Like those cookies that you stole in elementary school. You do have a history of food thievery.
Not of the food I made myself.
Once a food thief, always a food thief.
All right. The name of the Top Gear book that's out that Rob mentioned, I think when I typed in Top Gear book, a few things came up, but I'm assuming it's and on that bombshell, inside the madness and genius of Top Gear.
Ooh, I should read that book.
You should.
I'm embarrassed I haven't. I didn't even know it existed till Rob said that. Also, I would never think to read a book about a show I watch.
Oh, I do. I've read books on Friends.
Oh, sure.
Anything I can get my hands on Friends.
Mm-hmm. Any inside dirt.
That's all.
That's okay.
Oh,
Yeah, don't be sad.
I'm sad.
Trying to think if I said any facts.
You didn't say any wrong facts that I wrote down.
Okay.
All your facts were correct.
There's a lot of car stuff, though. You could have just.
Oh,
been
there's
like,
no way I would have even
Right.
known to check it. Yeah. I assume between the three of you, you're pretty much going to fact check each other.
And we all have our we kind of have our realms too. Like Jethro knows everything about supercars from like 2000 till now. I know everything about cars from 1966 until 1990. That's when I still read every car magazine. I memorized every horsepower, every quarter mile time, every 0 to 60 time.
Yeah.
I can still recite all those.
Yeah.
But I'm out to lunch on the newer supercars. I'm like, oh yeah, they're all crazy fast.
What designates it as a supercar?
Well, funny enough, the first episode's all about us trying to actually define what that means. But in general, it's a sports car that is like outrageously expensive, very low production, like they're not making a bunch of them. And they have some best in class feature performance wise, like a crazy motor, crazy horsepower, crazy lap time. And they're exotic and hard to get and rare.
Limited edition.
Yeah. Like I could name you some of the current supercars.
Okay, yeah. Please.
So like the McLaren 720p, but now they have a 765. That's a supercar.
But these aren't race cars, right? Like this isn't like what Danny's driving.
No, but ironically, that is exactly what Danny drove over when he came to dinner. Because he's now racing for McLaren, so
Right.
they give him a 765 when he's in town.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
The Ford GT, the Ferrari, what's their supercar right now? The F8, F12. The Lamborghini Aventador was a supercar. The Porsche 918 Spider was a supercar.
Does Mercedes have one?
They have had them. So they had the Mercedes AMG McLaren. That was officially a supercar, and it was, I don't know, $400,000 or something.
Oh my God.
And then what else will we put in the supercar? There's the Koning. There's a Celine. These are all like hand-built one-off cars. They don't even make many of them.
What does GT stand for?
Grand Touring.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like a class of cars where they're super fast, but they're also made for touring. So they might have a back seat, or they might have a place to put something in the trunk.
What does AMG stand for?
I don't know. Probably something in German.
Should I look it up?
In the history of AMG is they were an aftermarket company that would buy brand new Mercedes, then take them to their factory and put ground effects packages on them, different suspension, bigger brakes. They might modify the engine. And all through the 80s, AMG were these really cool Mercedes, but Mercedes didn't own them. And then Mercedes bought them. And then when Mercedes bought them, they got way, way better because then the engines got insane and they started hand building all these engines for those cars.
So the AMGs are hand built.
The motors are, yeah.
Mine is hand built.
It probably says who built it under the hood.
It does?
Yeah, like my AMG station wagon has a little steel plate on it with the person who built the motor by hand.
That's so cool.
It's really cool.
Okay, I found out what it stands for, and you're right. It's German, and I'll never ever be able to say it. So
Let me try.
You mind? Okay, you try.
I did take one semester of German.
Try.
Aufrecht, Melcher, and Grobaspach.
Oh wow.
Wow. That last one, Grobaspach. Aufrecht, Melcher, and Grobapach.
Oh my God.
I don't know. It's rough.
It's too hard.
Let's just keep it to
Are you
AMG.
sure there's a B? Those look like,
Ampersands?
it looks like a character in the middle of it.
An 8?
Well, this was fun.
Yeah.
I learned a lot.
I love cars. It's a stupid thing to love, but I just do.
It's fun to hop into other people's worlds and niches.
You know, I'm inclined to compare it to like how you guys like fashion, which I can't really wrap my head around, you know, like the Pangaya thing. I mean, the level of obsession and this color came out, you guys all calling each other and holy shit, the fucking sale's over and panic. I could watch it and I just couldn't relate at all.
Right.
So I guess I try to compare it to that. But the one thing I'll say that feels differently about it is it's also an activity.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a hobby. You can do something with this thing that you get. You know, you go drive it. It could be on a racetrack. You could take a road trip, you know. You go hang out at Bob's Big Boys on a Friday night.
Sure.
I don't know.
I mean,
is there anything like that?
Clothes is, I wouldn't equate those two, but if I was going to, I would say clothes mean something to us that it doesn't mean to you in the same way cars mean something to you that it doesn't mean to us, in that it's a representation of our personality, who you are, your identity.
Yeah. I think homes for women.
Home decor.
I'm generalizing big time right now, but because obviously I like houses too. But yes, it occurred to me when I was on Kimmel last night. I was like, you know, I parked this enormous motorhome in front of the new home, which really the new home is Kristen's dream house.
Yeah.
You know, she worked with a designer and it's what she wants.
Mm-hmm.
And I would have stayed at her old house forever because it like functions to me as the way a house should function. You can have people over, people eat there, you play cards there, whatever.
Yeah.
But for her, it's like a car. Like the way she's going to feel while people are over.
Oh, yeah.
The way you feel when you're in there.
Yeah.
And then for me, the motorhome is that. It's like, I drive it and I get this visceral feeling.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe those are the most comparable
similar,
things.
yeah. I'm going to keep brainstorming because there's got to be.
And also the justification to spend outrageous amounts of money on it is also similar to the house thing. It's like when I look at what you're
fashion as well.
Yeah. But the house thing, like I look at what you're, you know, potentially going to do.
Don't say that.
I'm not going to say any money.
Okay.
I'm just going to say what is important to you and what you'd be willing to spend decorating your house versus what I would be is just so different.
Yeah.
Yeah. But your apartment's so nice. I got to give it to you.
Thank you.
You have great taste.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I was cooking this weekend, I was cleaning up. I've been cleaning more too. And
You're like a whole new person in
know.
2021.
And I was like cleaning up and I was looking around and I was like, feel good. And this space, like this space makes me feel good. And it's like full of stuff that I've collected from places and it looks nice. And it like does something to my brain chemistry.
I couldn't agree more. I get in the Hellcat and I hit the start button in the way I'm sitting, in the way it sounds. And I'm like, ooh, baby. Yeah. I feel like I'm a superhero in it.
Yeah. It's fun.
It's fun that objects can do that.
Yeah.
All right. Good night.
Good night.
Sweet dreams.
Sleep tight. Don't let the bed bugs bite.
But if they do,
Eat
try
them.
to enjoy it.